Except now when it's like this sucks because fucking life and people are doing stupid shit and yeah.
Well, Earl, that's just part of life. People do stupid shit.
Yeah, but when managers who have been managers for like 15 years don't know that you can't get away with a write up without weight behind it, such as warnings,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well,
it's a little frustrating.
we are live on YouTube now. So YouTube, thank you guys so much for being here. This is Somos Moss, and we're gonna talk some Mexico United here tonight. Thank you guys so much for being here. You've already heard Earl and myself talking a little bit. Jacob's here as well. And so glad you guys are here. If you're enjoying the content here on the channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so that you know that when we do go live, when we do post other stuff here, and that's a whole bunch of fun stuff. If you are listening and you are interested in being a content creator with us, we are certainly looking for more folks to either be content writers over on our website, potentially join us here on the podcast, maybe do some other video stuff. We're looking for a graphic designer or a graphic artist, maybe make us a new logo, some graphics and things for the streams. So social media stuff. Social media, if you are good at social media, good at SEO, all that fun stuff, we'd love to have you reach out to one of us. We'll get you on board. I do want to reiterate, like we do every time we talk about this, we are not for profit. We make zero money on this. There is no money coming into any of our pockets. So we do this for the love of this. Yeah.
You guys aren't getting paid? Then how did I buy this jersey? I thought that was from you guys.
Hey, that's what we tell our wives.
Actually, no joke. My wife surprised me with this today. She bought it for me when they were announced, and I was very happy about that. So shout out to my wife, even though she won't listen. And she's not in the room this time. So
tell Allie she at least needs to subscribe to the podcast, to help our numbers out a little bit. I don't care if she listens. She can scrub through it,
I'll just steal her phone and do it all for her.
There you go. So we did looking at our YouTube notifications. We did have a couple of subscribers pop into the YouTube channel. I know a couple of these we talked about. I know Harry Austin Tyler. I believe we talked about Tina Berglund and Shayna Begay for all subscribed some time ago. So thank you guys. David Cam has also subscribed to the channel. Apparently that was 2 months ago, but we never had a notification. It is there now. So David, thank you so much for subscribing. We appreciate that. As always, you guys can support us across social media and here on YouTube and in your podcast service of your choosing. We are on all major podcast platforms. If you are using one that we are not on, please let us know. And we will see what we have to do to get on there. And that way we are available for as many people as possible on as many platforms as possible. We've got a lot to do. We've been talking before the show. We intended to go live at 8:30 tonight because Earl has to get up and be in town here early tomorrow morning. And Jacob and I both had last minute kid stuff, and it's just the way it is. So appreciate you guys being here and sticking with us.
Had last minute kids?
Yeah, last minute kids.
Yeah, just now.
Yeah,
just now had one.
So if you hear sirens in the background, kids are being delivered. And Earl, if you can, don't forget to swallow your mic tonight. So
we only hear sirens in your background because you live in the freaking war zone.
It's funny. Well, I don't mean this. I don't mean funny and like the fun in the sense of actual like comedy, but
it's ironic.
Ironic. Where I live here in Albuquerque, and there have been some shootings and things. And, I mean, granted, you could be anywhere in Albuquerque, me not too far from a shooting, but there were some up the road, like central Wyoming, a few days ago, and didn't hear a thing. No sirens, nothing.
Well, good. You become numb to it.
That's entirely possible. But it's yeah. While it isn't the best part of town, I mean, again, we've talked about, I live in a gated community, gated apartment complex, fairly secure.
Prison, folks.
This is my yard time for the week, so I had to do some favors for the boss man.
An hour long.
Hour long yard time. There you go.
Walking Old Red, but he let Old Red go.
I don't know how many people are going to get that reference, Earl, but I appreciate it so much. I appreciate that reference from the bottom of my heart.
That was a fantastic
sh-
reference.
I have an old red shirt from a concert 20 years ago, and it brought you just brought a tear to my eye, man. That was great. Such a great reference. Love it.
Oh man, we've got so much to
Ooh,
talk
that's
about
funny.
tonight. Yeah, that's great. I love these. We've actually got some feedback from folks that love the pre-show banter that we do. So I love doing this with you guys. This is a lot of fun. We've got a lot to talk about. So if you guys are ready, we'll get right into the show.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Moss, the official podcast of Somos Moss and M, and your source for latest news and notes on New Mexico United. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Thank you guys so much for joining us as we do each and every week here over on YouTube. Joining me tonight, as always, we have Jacob Terrell, Earl Nieto. Guys, so much to get to. We got a lot to talk about. U.S. soccer has some news out today. International break is over. Clubs are getting back into the swing of things. Premier League went back into action this weekend. So did the Bundesliga and some other things and some other stuff. Cristiano Ronaldo made his debut for Manchester United. Made his UCL debut for them today as well. A lot of stuff going on before we do get into our show.
On top of all that, Everton still sucks.
Everton is top of the table. I mean, not technically, goal differential and all that, but we are tied for top of the table. So I don't want to hear it.
Not to burst your bubble there, Seth, but weren't you at or near the top of the table after a couple weeks last year too?
I can neither confirm nor deny that fact.
Yes.
And
just wondering.
I will say that I believe that we are better right now. We're playing better right now than we did last year. Now, to be fair, we haven't played Liverpool, we haven't played City, we haven't played anybody, played anybody else in from the big six yet. But we've been playing well. We've scored multiple goals in all but one match. So a lot of good things looking forward to this season with Everton. I'm gonna watch the match from this weekend tonight when we get done. So, but
this is the only time I condone that activity.
I will say this: at least I'm not an Arsenal fan. So,
they did win this week, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is unfortunate, but Man U losing in the UCL,
anyways,
that's fun. But
Earl, we know that you like the Bundesliga better, or at least you claim to. I don't know if you watch it or not. Have you watched any Dortmund? I really need you to watch Dortmund play because they are possibly the funnest team to watch play in any league right now. Because their games, they have no defense and they have an amazing offense. So it's kind of like the 7 seconds or less Suns, where it's just goal after goal after goal and no defense whatsoever. So they won 4-3. And it was just an entertaining game.
So here's the thing. I haven't watched Bundesliga since COVID because that was my main reason for getting into Bundesliga was a freaking crowd where it was a party.
It's back though. It's back though.
Back there?
Yeah, the crowds are back.
Yeah. Oh,
I think they're not at full capacity, but yeah, no, crowds are back.
Oh no, they're at full capacity.
Are they? Okay.
Dortmund was at least.
I know there were a
It
few
was
that
crazy.
were at like 50 or 60%, but yeah, no, crowds are back. It sounds fantastic.
I remember the first Bundesliga matches I watched, and they had to pause the match for 45 freaking minutes because the crowd in the supporter section in the corner of, I think it was Bayern, set the freaking stadium on fire.
It's amazing. All right, we haven't even gotten to the burning question yet.
Hashtag sports. That's a great thing about sports, man. No,
so I'm gonna cut all of us off about Premier League and European soccer, unless the question's about European soccer. But
no, it's not.
What do you got for us, Seth?
So, NFL Week 1 in the books. We had a lot of stuff going on. USL, MLS, NFL, all sorts of stuff happening this weekend. What is your takeaway? My burning question: what is your takeaway from this weekend? It can be about anything. Yeah, there you go.
I love Cooper Cup. And let me tell you why I love Cooper Cup, my friends. Because I'm in a $130 buy-in fantasy league for some unknown reason that if my wife knew when I first agreed to it, I would never be in it. But agreed because I basically already was in it last year and whatever. And I was down by 30 points going into Sunday night. And I had Cooper Cup and he had Allen Robinson. And somehow, because Cooper Cup's a little madman, I won. And I will forever love Cooper Cup just because of that.
All right, kids. Here's my takeaway from week 1. Baker freaking Mayfield.
Lost.
Even though he lost by what was it, 3, 4 points?
I think it was 3.
Yeah. In a game where they had the lead, basically the whole game, and he couldn't hold on to it at the end. In a game that they just needed to put one drive together, get one first down, and he couldn't do that.
Hey, it's my turn for my terrible hot take.
Fair. At least you admit that it's terrible. At least you admit that it's terrible.
So that's actually not my takeaway. My takeaway is no matter who the hell Matt Nagy has as quarterback, he's still fucked.
Matt Nagy or the QB?
Who's fucked?
Both of them. Because God, Matt Nagy cannot coach a freaking game if it was high school.
It was a very entertaining week 1. I will give you that. We saw some crazy surprises. New Orleans beating Green Bay 38-3. The game last night where the Ravens lost twice, essentially. It was madness in overtime. The Bills losing, Arizona looking like world beaters. Granted, it was against Tennessee, and I don't know how well that's going to go. Jalen Hurts looking great.
Dallas still sucks.
Yeah, I forgot we haven't talked since then. Dallas's offense looks really good. They were given a couple gifts in the form of turnovers inside their own red zone. So, but yeah,
okay. Dallas's offense will now look like shit, and it'll be back to what they're used to because Lyle Collins, who's our right tackle at the moment, is out for 5 weeks for
drugs.
Enhancing drugs or some bullshit. Yeah. So
good job, Dallas.
Again, Cowboys are fucked.
That game was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I did not expect Dallas to put up 28 points.
I thought their offense could. The defense for Tampa just didn't look as good as I think it will at the end of the year. And it doesn't help that we had 2 starting secondary members go out in the first quarter. So take that for what it's worth. But I think the Dallas offense will still be good. I think Zeke is done. I wouldn't expect much out of him. But as far as Dak and the receivers, I think they'll be able to put up some numbers, much like last year at the beginning of the year before Dak got hurt, where he was putting up 500 yards a game and still losing. I think you could see some of that this year. And the defense did look better, though. The defense looked better than what I think what I thought it was going to. And they forced 2 fantastic fumbles. The interceptions are one was a Hail Mary and one went through the fingers of a player, so can't count on that. But the 2 fumbles forced were very nice. So I'll give them a little bit of credit and think that maybe they have a chance of winning that division, which kind of just says how bad that division is. Unless Philadelphia is for real, then you guys, Philadelphia's going to run away with it. But it's week 1. We're not going to overreact.
Between Dallas and Philadelphia, that's for sure. I don't see Washington doing anything unless they sign Cam Newton. But Fitzmagic is out for 6 to 8 weeks or something like that.
They put him on IR. I don't think they gave him designation to. I don't think they even gave him designation to return. I think he's done.
No, they did.
They did. Okay.
Yeah, he's out 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, because I saw the IR designation, but I didn't see that they put it to return.
Well, and the IR is different this year. So the IR basically just means you're out 3 games. Period. It's not like last year where it was only you could designate one player to put on IR to return. It's not like that anymore. It's basically like the 10-day disabled list for baseball.
Injured list. Not disabled. You can't say disabled list anymore. It's injured list.
Oh my gosh. So Seth, how did
We're
we
not-
do?
We're not
How
trying
did
to
we
get
do?
canceled.
How did we do on our questions?
All right, good question. So we talked about it a little bit Sunday afternoon. I was waiting for the late games to update. So I didn't tell you guys this, but I was talking to Tyler Ortega, friend of the show, after the show last week, and I asked him first of all how he felt about Dallas against Tampa, and he said he didn't feel good about it. I said, well, hey, do you want to join us on our pick'em? And Tyler is going to be competing along with us for the rest of the season. So, yeah. So looking at our week 1 scores, none of us actually really did very good at all. Jacob, you did nail question number 1, first penalty called, false start. So you picked up a point for that. More interceptions, Dak or Jameis. You went Dak. The rest of us went Jameis. Of course, Dak had 1. Jameis did have 1.
0.
He had 1, but it was called off due to a penalty flag.
It's not in the box score, buddy.
I know.
It's not in the box score.
So Jacob picked up a
points for
point
me.
there. Our prediction on which division allows the most points, and none of us got that right. That wasn't even close. Best.
I feel like I should get half a point because out of the ones that we did pick, I was the worst. But whatever, it's okay.
Best QBR after week 1. Of course, we said Brady and Rodgers, and Brady didn't have a bad week. His was pretty good.
Like 60 something.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers
Rodgers
shat the bed.
Rodgers was terrible.
His was terrible, but Pat Mahomes pulled that one out.
How did nobody take Mahomes? What the hell's wrong with this?
I figured Rodgers against the Saints D was going to be pretty.
Saints D is not bad though.
Well, no, but I mean it's
I
Aaron
think
Rodgers.
Revenge rally
Yeah.
is what I called.
But yeah, Rodgers did not look good on Sunday at all.
So here's the crazy part about that stat for Rodgers. If you take every pass and you spike it in the ground, you're averaging like 38.3%. Rodgers
You know what?
was at 33.2%.
You know what I heard though, and what I heard it, and then I looked it up to verify it. He had a worse QBR last year against Tampa Bay than he did this against week 1 just this year though. So he has these shitty games in him.
Yeah.
We just didn't expect it to be week 1, so that'll be interesting looking forward.
Yeah. All right. Final regular question: will there be a special teams touchdown, and if so, by who? So Jacob, you did say there would be one. You didn't get the team right, so I did give you half a point there.
I'll take half a point.
No one else got any points on that question. And then the bonus question: Monday Night Football, total combined points between the two teams. All three of us. Well, 3 of us went 30 to 45 points. Earl was the only one that went greater than 45, so Earl picked up 2 points there. So, Jacob, you're in the lead with 2.5. Earl, you got 2 points.
Can we talk about how much bullshit this is? That Earl got 1 question right, and I got 2.5, and he's a half a point behind me? What the hell?
Would you like to file a complaint with the league commissioner?
No, because you're the league commissioner, and you'll say suck it. So I don't care.
Exactly. So, your complaint has been lodged and denied. So. Moving on to our week 2 pick'em, week number 2. Question number 1: which team will score the fewest number of points in week 2?
Ooh. Ooh.
So I don't know if you guys have your schedules pulled up or not, but I was looking at them earlier. I was trying to get an idea of what questions to ask, and I'm going Falcons.
Stall.
I mean, there were a number of teams that did not play well at all on Sunday. I mean, the Bears struggled. The Green Bay. You're going to the Giants. Okay.
Yeah, they're playing a good Washington defense in Washington on Thursday night. That just short week. That just screams the offense is going to suck because the offense sucks anyways. So thinking that's not going to end well for the Giants.
No, probably not. Earl, do you have a pick?
I love the self-hatred that you have going on there, picking the Falcons. As a Falcons fan, that makes me feel good.
Yeah, oh, man, I was, I had my concerns coming into the season because not only
the Ravens or the Falcons,
about the Falcons, yeah, because not only have we screwed ourselves over cap-wise, we did not play any of our starters at all in the preseason. which I thought was a terrible idea. Now, I don't care about preseason results, but I need to see the guys on the field working on that chemistry, working on the timing, figuring their shit out. And that didn't happen. And outside of the first 13 and a half minutes of the game on Sunday, we played like complete utter crap. So, I thought we were going to run for 400 yards with the way we played in the first quarter. But,
I have Jalen Hurts on my fantasy team, so I was happy.
Yeah.
Earl, your team.
Jacksonville.
Okay.
All right.
So that Jacksonville is a whole other conversation there. I know there's a lot of folks that are concerned about Urban Meyer. Does he see out the season?
They've been concerned about that before they even played a game.
Well, no, I get that, but I
Is
get
that one of our questions?
No,
That can't be
no,
one of our questions.
no. Let me ask you this: speaking of Urban Meyer, does Jacksonville pull a USC and fire Urban Meyer before he even gets a chance?
No, not yet.
No. Okay.
No.
I was just curious. Clay Helton obviously got fired by USC after 2 games this season and a 1-1 record.
Urban Meyer will see at least 3 years.
That's ballsy. I think he'll quit after this one if it doesn't go well.
He'll have a heart attack.
He's gonna resign for health conditions.
Hey,
So.
I can say that because I am an Ohio State fan.
Yeah, there you go. All
Who
right.
also shit the bed this week.
Why are you admitting that?
They did. Ohio State did.
Of all the times to admit that, why this week after they lose? I don't understand.
I've always
Anyways.
been an Ohio State fan.
Next question.
Next question. Question number 2. Week 1, we saw 8 away teams pick up victories. How many win this week?
You're asking questions that require way too much research.
Who are the away teams?
Do your research.
Away teams this week. Let me pull that back. I had it up. I jumped over to NFLfantasy.com. My fantasy teams did not do well this week, but that's neither here nor there at this point. I'm gonna bounce back in week 2. All right, so your away teams this week. We have Thursday night. We've got Giants at Washington, Cincinnati, Houston, Los Angeles, Buffalo, New England, San Francisco, Los Angeles, New Orleans, Denver, Minnesota, Atlanta, Dallas, Tennessee, Kansas City, and Detroit. Those are your away teams this week.
I say 7.
7? Okay.
6.
Arlington goes 6. All right. I'm going to say 5. Yes,
you did.
I did. I think this week is going to be
7-6-5.
I think this week is going to be terrible for away teams. I really and truly do. Which kind of leads into the next question. Oh, where'd it go? Where's my question? Oh, never mind. I'll save that one for last. That's our bonus question. All right. Which quarterback has the best pass completion percentage between Derek Carr, Matt Ryan, and Ryan Tannehill? They all 3 finished within a percentage point of each other this week.
God.
They all finished between 60 and 61%. Derek Carr, of course, will play against Steelers. Matt Ryan, of course, plays against Tampa Bay. And then Ryan Tannehill plays against Buffalo.
Ryan Tannehill plays against the Seahawks.
That's right. That is correct.
I will say
Right,
Tannehill.
I'm saying, what's his fucking name? The first guy.
Derek Carr?
Carr.
That guy.
Tannehill.
All right. So Tannehill for Jacob. Carr for Earl. Yeah, looking at those matchups, I got to go Carr. Because I do not trust.
You are dumb.
I don't trust Matt Ryan against Tampa Bay. I don't trust. I don't like the Falcons' offense right now. Our O-line
Well,
sucks.
okay, to be fair, you gave us 3 shitty options this week
That was the point.
because Carr goes up against the Steelers, who their offense looked like shit, but their defense was absolutely incredible. So I just went with the quarterback facing the best or the worst defense there. And I think the Seahawks, while not a bad defense, are not near the Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay type. So
I mean, that's a good argument there. I mean, you could definitely look at it that way. So, I mean, and that was what I tried to do. I tried to make it tough. You got 3 quarterbacks who struggled in week 1, to an extent. Going up against good defenses. So, all right. Week 1, 4 players rushed for 100 yards: Mixon, Mitchell, Melvin Gordon, or Harris. Do any of those players do it again in week 2?
which Harris
Gordon.
ran for 100 yards?
Najee.
Najee Harris.
Najee
Yeah.
didn't run for 100 yards.
Who was it? Crap. Where is it? Come on, NFL stats page. Damian Harris for
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, Joe Mixon.
Do any of them do it again?
Yeah.
Was that the question?
Which of those 4 will do it again?
Wait, there's 4?
Yeah, those 4. Joe Mixon, Elijah Mitchell, Melvin Gordon, or Damian Harris.
Who's playing Dallas?
None of them.
Who does Melvin Gordon play? Let's see.
I think you might need to start giving this to us a little bit earlier, like before the podcast, so we could have our answers ready.
What?
So we're not taking up an hour of the podcast.
Nah, that's
going, who plays who? Let me see. Okay.
Denver
I
plays
don't know.
Jacksonville this weekend. Earl.
Melvin Gordon.
I'm going to say none of them do.
None of them. Okay. I actually like Mitchell against Philly. Philly gave up Philly gave up some yards on the ground on Sunday. 86 yards in the first quarter alone. So,
But then they woke up, and that's all they got.
Well, no, then Atlanta was behind, so they couldn't
Yeah.
run because they were behind.
yeah, that's exactly it. All right. So you said Gordon. I went Mitchell. Jacob says none of them. All right. Question number 5. Does Aaron Rodgers get pulled for Jordan Love this week?
No.
No?
Well, wait. No, they play the Lions on Monday night. There's no way. There's no way now.
Detroit lost last week while putting up, what was it, 38 points?
33. but yeah.
33, yeah.
No.
No? Okay.
The key, you said the answer right there. Detroit lost and they scored 33 points.
Yeah.
They lost because they gave up 41.
Green
Their
Bay
defense
lost
is
because
terrible.
Aaron Rodgers played like shit.
Yeah, but I'm gonna trust I'm gonna say that 2 things. 1, the Lions defense is a lot worse than the Saints defense, and 2, I'm gonna trust Aaron Rodgers 20 years of good games to 1 bad game to start the season. So no, he doesn't get pulled. Unless the only way he's gonna get pulled is if they're winning 41-0, and I don't think that's gonna happen either. So no, he does not get pulled.
Okay. All right. I think that might be a no from all of us there, but it would be interesting to see what happens if Aaron Rodgers does not perform well again, and the Green Bay could be in a situation in week 3 if Aaron Rodgers has 2 terrible games to start the season. So who knows? And on to our bonus question for the week. AFC and NFC West both finished undefeated after week 1. Which division of these 2 stays that way, if either of them?
None.
None. Okay.
I don't know who they play, but there's no way those 2 Actually, NFC West.
NFC West. Okay. NFC West. Let's see. They play. I had it here just a second ago.
The Niners have the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams play the Colts. The Cardinals host the Vikings, and the Seahawks host the Titans. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with that one, too.
All right. NFC West. Okay.
Because the AFC West has the Raiders play the Steelers. The Broncos play the Jaguars. The Chiefs play the Ravens, and the Chargers play the Cowboys. So that one's an interesting one. It's just the Steelers one that holds me up. I don't know if the Raiders are going to beat the Steelers. So the other one, I feel like they're all going to be heavy favorites in the NFC West matchups. So I will actually take smart money and say no, nobody does.
No. Okay. So I didn't look at all these matchups like in depth earlier. I did look at the Cowboys game. The Cowboys are currently a 3-point underdog in that one. So I don't think the lines are going to be that big, but I think the AFC West stays undefeated after this week. I think those are some good matchups for them. So
we have an AFC, an NFC, and a neither.
Yeah.
So somebody's getting 2 points.
Somebody is. Harry, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us in the chat. Appreciate you being here. I shot you.
Who had the neither?
Jacob.
did.
Jacob had to go with neither. So all right, there we go. That's our week 2 pick'em, and we'll see what happens this weekend with the NFL. Harry, again, appreciate you being here, man. I shot you a DM. I think you got it. Your flag is on its way. So appreciate you chiming in on that. Earl, do we have any flags left? Did anyone reach out to you?
I still have a whole whopping 11.
Whopping 11. Okay, I've still got some too. So guys, if you're listening to this either on YouTube or later in the week, we do still have blackout night flags that we are giving away. So reach out to one of us on social media, and we'll get in touch with us. We'll get you a blackout night flag. Probably meet up with you like Saturday night or something. So please let us know if you're interested. If you want one of them, I think we've got like 13 left. So let us know. We'll get you guys a flag. So all right, Harry says, let's see. You did all right. Great, Harry. Great. That should be there. I think by the end of the week. So, all right. So there we go. So we had you guys' takeaways from the weekend. My takeaway from the weekend. There's a lot of bad football, NFL, USL, MLS, Orlando City. I'm not sorry. But, USL, there was some bad football. And, of course, New Mexico United went down to Austin, did not play.
They kicked the crap out of them, right? Right?
Yes!
Right.
No.
They did, right?
No.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
No, you mean to tell me they went back to what they were doing before the Colorado Springs match and looked terrible?
Yeah. Somehow we went down to Austin and decided to go back to playing a 2 defensive mid set against an Austin Bold club that has struggled to score this season, despite having success the previous week after dropping JPG from the starting 11. And for whatever reason, JPG and Michael Azira started side by side as defensive mids, and United lost 1-0. Michael Azira gave up a penalty late in the second half. United couldn't find a winner. We couldn't do anything. Like the first half, we sat back, and I've watched this match 3.5 times. 3.5.
God bless you, Seth. God bless you.
Because I wanted to understand.
I haven't watched it the whole time.
Yeah, there you go. I watched enough for all of us. Because I wanted to understand why the hell we played the way that we did. What were we doing? And why did we make the changes? Like, we made one change to the starting 11. One. And there was such a dramatic impact on how we played from Saturday against Colorado Springs to Friday in Austin. Yeah, Harry's got a great point there. Austin beats San Antonio and New Mexico United in a week. And this was a team that, Austin Bold's a team that, Harry and I were talking about. Harry thought that Bold had basically thrown in the towel they looked like they had. I mean, they're getting rid of guys. You know, their coach. They promoted their coach to sporting director. They brought in a new coach, and you know things weren't looking good for this team. They were on the downside. They hadn't been playing necessarily well. They're a terrible scoring club. And Troy Lesesne, I like to say trust in Troy. Troy is the coach. Well, I just don't understand. I don't understand this change. To me, watching it in the first half, it looked like we were content to sit back, pick up, try to defend, play on the counter a little bit. But how can you counter when you've got 20 yards between your forwards and your midfielders, and there's no connection going forward? And then you don't start the second half by bringing in someone that can bring in a spark when you're trying to put that energy out there. And yes, we looked better in the second half. We didn't look great by any means, but we had attempts in the second half. We had one shot in the first half. One. It was blocked. The USL still counts as a shot. We had one shot, according to their website, in the first half. Like, it's Austin Bold playing at home. A team that has struggled to score more than we have. And I'm sorry. I don't understand. Someone help me out here.
Okay. Here's what happened, Seth. Men in Black got to Troy and did the little flashy thingy to erase the Colorado Springs match, because that is the only logical explanation for the shit show that we saw Friday night. We came on here a week ago and said, oh, it looks like we maybe figured some things out. Coach, we had an attacking threat. Guzman didn't come in until the second half, and then, of course, he looked terrible in the second half. Surely that the players-only meeting after the Phoenix game and then this led to Coach seeing the light when it comes to Juan Pablo Guzman. And then what happened Friday? 90 minutes of Juan Pablo Guzman, a steady heaping helping of back passes and turnovers, and just a complete lack of connection between the midfield and the forwards, like you said. It has to be that. It has to be his memory was wiped from Friday. That's it. That's the only explanation that I will take. And if anybody says otherwise to me, I will fight them.
It doesn't make sense. Like, we were all excited to see Sergio get the opportunity. When we had Casey on 2 weeks ago, Casey told us he wanted to see Sergio in that drop into that deeper role. And
Sergio didn't even fucking play Friday.
Exactly.
That's the craziest thing.
Exactly. Sergio didn't even play. He was in the 18. He traveled with. He was there. Troy didn't even sub him on. Like, I don't get it. We saw how well Sergio played. Troy even talked about the versatility and the verticality that Sergio brings to the club. And it looked so good against Colorado Springs. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the only thing I could possibly think of is that maybe the idea was to go down to Austin and I hate to say it, play for the draw, which I think is an absolutely ridiculous idea. I shouldn't even be thinking that. That shouldn't be the thought process, but that's where I'm at. Like, Earl, we know you don't like JPG. We know that. We see it. We all know that JPG is not the player he was even 2 years ago. He's not the player he was last year, and he has a lot of issues this season. Can you give us any sort of rationality for this at all? Like, I mean, again, I know you don't like him, but is there anything in your rational mind that says, let's take out something that was working and go 2 defensive mids?
Well, the only thing I have rational that can justify why JPG plays so much is he is the godfather to Troy's kid. I'm just kidding, by the way. He actually is the godfather.
You had me. You had me, dude. You had me for sure. I was like, I can totally see that being the case. I could totally see that being the case.
He has something on Troy that has to have him playing 90 fucking minutes every week, and when he doesn't play 90 minutes, he makes up for it the next fucking week by starting again. I don't have any rational reason why JPG is constantly in the starting 11, and when he's not in the starting 11, he still finds himself on the fucking pitch sometime after halftime, very early in halftime, not even like the 70th or 80th minute, like crunch time halftime or garbage time halftime. Fucking important time, like 60th minute, 55th minute, JPG's coming on and picking up a fucking quick yellow. I don't understand why. I wish I did, and I wish I don't even know what to say. I don't. I wish there was a way we could ask Troy nicely on why the fuck JPG keeps playing.
Well, I tried to ask. I asked him somewhat nicely, about JPG being dropped after the Colorado Springs match. I tried to make it like, hey, JPG being dropped worked. Sergio had a great night. I don't understand. Like, I get that Juan Pablo is very technical with the ball. I get that. And there's a time and a place for that.
Thank you, Earl. Thank you. Is he? Is he right now? I could see maybe last year, maybe the year before. But this year, he has not been very technical with the ball, unless you want to talk about him technically giving up a lot of chances for the other team.
So Sunday, I watched the match, or 33.
You started to watch it.
Match because Saturday, I was spending time with my family.
Friday. It was Friday night.
Friday night and Saturday. I spent 2 days hanging out with my wife. Surprisingly, she didn't fucking kill me. I am still alive. I do still have my ring on, so I'm not divorced yet. I watched 33 minutes on Sunday of something that made me sick to fucking watch. Before we came on now, I was trying to watch it, and I got to maybe the 55th, 56th minute. I didn't even get to the penalty yet. And immediately, there's 4 notes that I wrote down. JPD does a lot of moving, but defenders are not fooled by him because he's just running back and forth like a fucking idiot. JPG does not attack the ball when it's coming towards him. He lets it come to him, and then he tries to figure out what the fuck's next. JPG separates himself from the play, which essentially just kills the fucking offense. There's times you'll see him in the back line for whatever fucking reason. You'll see him on the opposite side of the field when the play's over here in the midfield, whatever fucking reason. And JPG is always looking backfield to pass the ball back instead of a goal-scoring opportunity, which we had multiple times with Wehan coming into the box, but JPG passes it to the back or passes it to Tambakis. And I don't fucking understand, and I am getting frustrated by just talking about him. So, by all means, if you want to fucking segue to something different, like cornbread or fucking candy corn, I'll be okay with that.
There were 2 instances where JPG got the ball just on the Austin or our side of the pitch. Austin's, I get that confused. Our side is the side we're attacking, right? Yes. Okay. Thanks for the feedback, guys. I appreciate you just leaving me hanging like that. So
sorry,
he got the ball.
I'm on mute. So
he got the ball.
So our side is the side that our goalkeeper's on.
Okay.
We're attacking their side.
Okay. Then he got the ball on our side, just past midfield. You could see it clear as day that if he wanted to turn and make a Rebus-like run on the goal that Suggs scored against Colorado Springs, there was all the space in the world to do that. 2 times in like the first 15 minutes. And he passed it back or sideways to a guy that had a defender right in front of him. And both of those times, luckily my wife and my kids were out of town, and I was watching it in an empty house by myself, aside from the dog and the cat, who both looked at me funny at this next moment. The second time he did it, I literally threw a pillow at the window, not the TV, because the TV is worth way more than a window. I literally threw the pillow at the window and screamed, "Go fucking forward," much louder than that. And that little incident right there pretty much summarizes the Juan Pablo Guzman experience. Especially, see, we've been bagging on this all season, right? But for us to actually get a glimpse, just a small 70-minute glimpse against Colorado Springs of what life could be like if we had somebody there that actually tried to attack. Because we had that small 70-minute glimpse, it made Friday that much more infuriating, because we saw what would happen if somebody in Juan Pablo Guzman's position that actually would attack. We saw what that could do, and it led to a beautiful goal by Suggs. And now the first Rivas got the hockey assist on Weehan's goal. Maybe Guzman is in that position, but Guzman doesn't make that pass. So he might be exactly where Rivas is standing at that particular time, but I don't think he sees that pass. So to just have somebody that sees the field, sees the pitch from a mindset of, we need to get the ball in their net. What can I do with this ball at my feet to do that? And gives us the best opportunity to do that. To Guzman, whose thought process is, we have to keep the ball out of this other team's net. How can I make it to where they almost score, but my keeper saves my ass? Those are the two thought processes that I saw different between him and Rivas. And I don't understand how anybody on the coaching staff could look at the difference there between those two and think, yeah, Guzman for 90 minutes with a zero, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's do that for sure. I don't get it. And this is by far the closest I have been to the hashtag Troy out movement. I still love Troy. I don't want him to lose his job. I just want him to realize that you have a better option than Guzman in that position. Play Rivas there. We don't have a whole lot of. There's no Open Cup. There's no any other competitions going on right now. So you have. Where are we here? We have the 18th, and then the 22nd, and then the 25th, and then we have a week off, and then Wednesday, Saturday, and then a week off, and then Wednesday, Saturday, and then a week off. Rivas can play that position in all of those matches. I don't care. Run him into the ground because he is our only hope. I honestly think that you could put Illich, you could put Sandoval, you could put Moreno, Weehan, any combination of two of those three up on top. And as long as Rivas is the one pulling the strings in Guzman's spot, I think our offense will be great. So I don't care how much you rotate the squad around that. Rivas and Azira, Rivas, and even if it's Rivas and Guzman plays Azira's role from the Colorado Springs match, that's okay. Rivas and Tinari, I don't care. Rivas and Isidro, I don't care. It just cannot be Guzman and Azira or Guzman and Tinari again this year.
You definitely can't do that in a 3-4-3. Like, with the system that we're playing, like throwing two defensive mids in there. I mean, we were talking about, a little bit earlier before the show, we were saying, look at how the U.S. men's national team played the other night. Similar setup where they had defensive mids in there and no one to play that ball going forward, no one to fill that space in the middle. And in this 3-4-3, you can't sit out there with JPG and Azira. You can't, because again, they don't have that verticality. They can't have it go forward. Now, if you want to play like a 3-2, a 3-2, whatever, 3-4, no, have a cam in there, have someone in that cam role, that central attacking mid that can help be that link up there between, the two defensive 3-2. I'm trying 3-2. I don't know. I don't even remember what I had it figured out in my head the other day.
3-4-1-2.
Yeah, 3-4-1-2. Like, do that. Put two at top. Have that cam in the middle. Have that person that can drop deep and get the ball and go forward with it. Then you could have Juan Pablo in a 0, or Juan Pablo in whatever you want to do. Put a 0 and Tenari in there for all I care. I don't give a crap. Put a cam in there to help fill that gap. And then you've got something.
Rhino in there, you'll probably get better results.
Yeah, then you've got something. But you can't leave that, that 20, 25 yard gap between your forwards and your midfields and expect to be able to go on the counter like we tried to play, or try to, have any sort of attacking vision. You can't do it. And we're all Stephen A's tonight, apparently.
Yeah, I just don't understand how you find something that works so well and then you're so quick to get away from it. That's what I don't understand. The only thing that I can think, seriously, other than the Man Black flashy thingy, Rivas either was in trouble with the team or hurt a little bit. And he wasn't hurt enough to not be in the he wasn't hurt enough to be on the report, but they were trying to get him a game off for whatever reason. Or maybe coach looked at the schedule and said, okay, Austin sucks at attacking. We can probably get a goal there, which doesn't make sense because Austin's defense has been very good. So you need more attacking players in there than anything else. So I don't know what he was thinking there, but maybe he was saving him. And the stretch that I just mentioned from here on out, maybe he was saving him for that. I don't know. Those are the only two things that he was either injured slightly or needed a rest, or he was in trouble of some kind. It was disciplinary. I don't know. Those are the only things that make any semblance of sense to me whatsoever. Because if you look at any other logic, it doesn't make sense. Not after the Colorado Springs match, not after the way he played. He was my man of the match. I know Josh had the counting stats, but Rivas completely changed the way we were able to attack against Colorado Springs. And so just for that reason, I gave him man of the match. And he did have an assist and a hockey assist, like I said. So to come off of that match and then not see the pitch, and then not only that, but, I liked Najim last year. He's kind of turned into a Guzman to me this year. He just doesn't seem fiery. He doesn't seem into it. He's been making poor decisions. Somehow he was the man of the match against Austin, which I guess is just because everybody sucked so bad. They had to give it to somebody. But to have him play 90 minutes as well didn't make sense to me. The subs, we talked about the subs real quick. We had Schmidt come on in the 45th for Tete, which I think was Tete probably picked up a knock, would be my guess.
Yeah, he did. He kind of picked up something right there before the halftime.
And so that I can understand. But then in the 69th minute, when it's still 0-0, and we're fighting for every point we can possibly get right now, including 3 points for that match, he decides to take off Weehan and Suggs, who, aside from Rivas, were the best two players against Colorado Springs, takes them off. Now, he put Bruce and Moreno in, and I'm okay with those two subs coming in. Just how are you going to take Suggs and Weehan off? Weehan was the only player that looked decent in the first half, and he was just decent. Not good, just decent. So you're going to take Weehan and Suggs off and put a Moreno, who just started on Wednesday for El Salvador, and Brucey, who you've seemingly forgot about since you signed Najim. Those two didn't make any sense to me. The Illich for Sugg or for Azira, that was him going, oh yeah, we need offensive players out there. What am I doing? And then making that sub. And so I don't know. It was probably the worst managed game that I have seen in New Mexico United, and I know others might not agree, or others will say that it's been poorly managed all season. I'm not going to go that far, but this one, I don't know. I mean, we just are beating a dead horse now because we just can't understand what the fuck we just saw. But listeners, if you're out there and you have a different take, let me know because we obviously seem to think similar thoughts here, and I cannot figure out what just happened.
Well, let me ask you this, Earl. You know, going off of Jacob's line of thinking, if the idea was to rest Sergio for the stretch of matches coming up, if the idea was to bring off, Bees and Josh to give them a little bit of rest for the stretch of matches coming up, why not look at potentially bringing in guys like Armando or Dane or some of our academy guys, some of these academy contract kids. Throw them in there. I mean, if Sergio did have a minor knock and you're going to sit him down, why not bring in one of these young kids? Why not bring in an academy kid? Why not bring in Christian? Give these guys an opportunity to play. I mean, they're bound to give you more energy than some of the other guys out there. Like, you got any thoughts on that, Earl?
No, I don't. Like I said a while ago, I'm pretty damn sure that my great-grandma, who's dead by the way, had more energy than JPG. Like we said before, I feel like it could have been a tactical move to rest some of the key starters, such as Tenari, Rivas, Samando, for this next 10-match stretch because they're pretty close games. I mean, you play the 3rd, you play the 6th, you play the 9th, you play the 17th, 20th, 23rd, and 30th. So yeah, so they're pretty tight, close games in a matter of a month. So that could be the option. I'm sorry, that's the 9th. Yeah, I said 9th. So that could be what was going on, was just getting some rest. But to answer your question, no, I don't know why we wouldn't put in some of the younger stars like Nava or any of the academy kids that have signed their first team contracts, or even someone that's been sitting on the bench all year long and is pretty much essentially getting the same treatment as what Sammy Sergi got last season in Touche. I mean, you have Touche. Why not play him? You signed him.
Touche is a defender, and our back line hasn't really been that big of an issue. I thought our back line has played well most of, if not all, season. And I don't know enough about Touche to say. I don't know if he could come in as a defensive midfielder or if he could play in that Suggs role. He seems to be kind of just a center back to me, but who knows?
So yeah, he played. I remember that first preseason match. He did play defensive mid. So, and he fared pretty well actually against an El Paso team that still sucks, regardless of where they stand on the table. So yeah, so seeing Touche not come in, or debating on whether Touche can play defensive mid or not, is regardless, because you're essentially have a defensive mid playing back line when Guzman decides to go hang out in the back line and have a tea party with fucking whoever's on that right side.
I don't know. Even the thought process of we have 7 games in October, we need to be ready for that and rested. This game's not going to matter if we keep playing like this. It's not going to matter because we're going to be out of the playoffs. We're not even going to have a chance. Now, I think mathematically we're not going to be eliminated for a long time just because everything's so close right there in that Mountain Division. But just morale-wise, if we end up losing Saturday and some other teams like Austin and Colorado Springs and San Antonio get some victories, then it's going to be a very, very hard uphill climb. And it might take a situation like year one where we took care of business on the last night, but we needed help as well. Shout out Colorado Springs. Sorry, Harry, for the bad memories. That I don't want to have that situation. I want to just make the fucking playoffs. And so, what would have helped a lot more to me is winning this damn game in Austin and playing the lineup that we think should be played and that is shown the most offensively, while, mind you, not sacrificing much defensively. Colorado Springs, the most dangerous club in the USL going into that match, with Rivas as that center mid, didn't scare me. They had an own goal, which was ugly, but it wasn't like they had some beautiful lead-up play and then Hodgberry put the ball in the back of the net. They sent it across and it wasn't dealt with properly. That's all that happened there. So we had so much attack and didn't lose anything defensively. How are you not sticking with that? How are you making the one change that you cannot make in that position? You could have changed 1,000 other things in my head. You could have put freaking Schmidt in for Ryden, and I would have been okay with it. Don't put Guzman in for Rivas in that situation. That's exactly what he did. He did the one thing that the majority of the fan base is screaming not to do. He did the one thing that was going to cause a reaction of, why is Guzman starting? And I saw that at least 2 of those comments on every single post on social media, whether it was Twitter or Instagram or Facebook on the New Mexico United page or in the New Mexico United Nation. Every post that I saw of the starting lineup had comments on it saying, why is Guzman in there? It's the only thing that you could have done to get that reaction is to put Guzman in, and that's what he does. Are you trolling us at this point? Is that all it is? Is he just trolling the Troy out guys?
I mean, if he's that aware of hashtag Troy out, I mean, then, kudos to him for playing, the meta game there. But I don't know. It's hard. Like you said, it's hard to understand. It's really hard to understand why that decision was made. And, we were talking the other night. I said, I've got so many questions that I want to ask. And, as a fan, I want to be hypercritical of it. I want to. As media, I know that I can't be because I'm not going to get an answer out of him. But I don't understand. I mean, I felt like we played well defensively, start to finish. I feel like we played well defensively. We limited their chances, for the most part. We looked pretty good at the back. Made some nice recoveries. Alex had some nice, saves or some nice reads on some balls. And so I thought, again, if we had that spark in the second half, maybe we could have done it. I just don't understand the logic of coming out with that conservative of a game plan when we know we need points. I just don't get it.
And you mentioned earlier the USA match. Was it Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday, I think it was.
Yeah.
That gave me hope at halftime of the New Mexico United match, because that first half of the USA match was the worst soccer I've seen played by professionals in ever, probably. Except for when I watch Arsenal play. That's the only time it might be worse. But Berhalter made the right changes at halftime, and it changed the whole dynamic of the game. So at halftime of the United game, I was like, okay, awesome. We still got some hope. Coach obviously sees the difference between Rivas and Guzman. Coach is going to make some changes here. He's going to bring Moreno on for Cedro. He's going to bring Rivas on for Guzman. He's going to bring Schmidt on for Tete, and that's it? What? That's what he did? And then it just, we looked better in the second half. We did. But that's not good enough. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, but it's okay because we we look slightly more attacking for 15 minutes coming out of halftime. No, that's not okay. It's just not. It is this club, both Troy and Peter and the team, the players, since the media day that I went to way back in March, May, April. I think it was April. They have all been. We want a championship. It's all about a championship. We want to lift a cup. That's what our goal is. And for that to be their goal, and then to see these dumb choices, which I know I'm not a soccer coach. I get it. I have followed this team religiously for 3 years. And I know that Guzman is not the right choice to be in that position next to somebody of his similar ilk. You have to have a Rivas in there. You have to have a Moreno in there, a Wehan in there, playing next to them and dropping back and getting that and creating. But if you drop a Moreno or a Wehan, then you lose somebody up top. That's why it's got to be Rivas. And you got to have Moreno and Wehan and Sandoval up top. That's what it has to be. I don't understand it. And for a team that's preaching about cups, man, we're a long way from a cup. And if it's going to be interesting if we miss the playoffs to see what Peter does, because Peter wants a cup probably worse than anybody, and I could see him going, "Hey, this isn't working. We got to figure something else out." So I don't think it'll happen, even if we miss the playoffs. But we can't be losing 1-0 to Austin and having zero attack. The halftime stats that I had were we had 54% of the possession, 1 corner kick, 0 goals, 0 shots on target is what I have on when I took a picture of the halftime of the match that they posted on there. Compared to 8 shots, 1 on target for Austin. We are the better attacking team. We have to be. We have to be the better attacking team going against Austin. And we weren't by a lot. Ah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we can sit here, we can armchair coach, we can armchair manage, we can talk until we're blue in the face, and I think I honestly don't know that there's not really anything more to cover about the match against Austin Bold. I mean, we didn't play like we should have. We didn't play as well. We disagree with the lineup. We disagree with, how the subs were handled. We disagree with the game plan. Something's got to change. Something's got to change for Saturday night. And, looking at, I honestly don't know. I mean, other than we've talked about taking JPG out of the lineup, being more attack minded, we have to go forward. But, and against a team like Real Monarchs, like, we cannot be afraid to go forward and be aggressive. Earl, what do you think Troy's takeaways were from the Austin Bold match, and how does he adjust that to what we need to do Saturday night against Monarchs?
I'm hoping that he notices that JPG is not the answer. I'm hoping even if he does stick with JPG for whatever God-forsaken reason, he doesn't do it with Azira next to him. I'm hoping he noticed that Rivas and Amando are 2 incredible players that need to be started and can have a fire that goes beyond off the pitch. I don't know that he saw that, because like I said, JPG baptized his son or his kid, so JPG will continue to start regardless of hell or heaven or wind or fucking Hurricane Ida. So unfortunately, I do believe we keep seeing JPG because that's just a continuum of what we've seen all fucking season. Um, I I really don't know, and I'm hoping to God that we don't see JPG start. But like I said, unfortunately, I do think we see that.
Jacob, what's gonna happen Saturday night, man?
There's two things that'll happen. Two things that an either or situation. Either Rivas is in the starting lineup and we win that game going away, or Guzman and Zero in the starting lineup and we riot in the streets. Those are the only two acceptable outcomes from Saturday.
Wait, is this like a promise?
I will pick it the next home game if Guzman starts Saturday. I will stand out front of the stadium with a sign that has Guzman's name and a big red circle and a big red cross through it if he starts Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I know we play better at home than we do on the road. I know that we've looked better over the past few weeks. We, to an extent, like we played unbelievably well against Colorado Springs this year. We've had opportunities in pretty much every single game to put ourselves in a position to win. And if we lose to Monarchs on Saturday, if we get less than 3 points on Saturday, if we get a draw, if we lose, like, I don't even want to think about what happened if we lose, but if we draw on Saturday, that's gonna, no matter what happens, that's gonna feel like a loss. It's just going to, because we can't lose to a team like that.
If we draw or lose on Saturday, consider me pressing the panic button.
I think that's fair.
So I'm gonna go one step further here. Well, I'm gonna change it up a little bit, just a touch. If Rivas plays in the central midfield, and for whatever reason we say we draw 2-2, we lose 3-2, something like that, I don't know if I'd hit the panic button. Guzman could start in the midfield with Zero or Tanari, typical what we've seen before Colorado Springs. If that's the lineup that's out there, even if we win, I'm hitting the panic button. Basically what I'm saying is if Guzman starts, I'm hitting the panic button because it shows a complete lack of ability to separate results from emotions from Troy. That is what I think is happening. Because I don't see how a soccer mind like Troy, he knows more about soccer. He's probably forgot more about soccer than I will ever know about soccer. And so to me, I think it has to be, I have this Guzman guy who's been with the club for 3 years and has sacrificed so much for us and has just been a great team player, been there every day, is a veteran. I've got to start him. I just have to. Emotionally, I have to start him. And if he's doing that instead of actually looking at the results on the pitch, then that's a problem. And that is a reason to panic more for me than if we were to play the right process, as in Rivas is out there, Guzman isn't, or Guzman is next to Rivas, I'd be okay with that. But if Guzman, if the two central midfielders are the same two that we've seen most of the year in Rivas in Guzman, and name another player that's not Rivas. If that's the case, then I'm hitting the panic button before the match even starts. Because that just shows to me we're not going to learn from what we've seen. And it doesn't matter what happens on the pitch. That seems to be the starting lineup that is going to play 95% of the time, and that's a problem. So If Rivas plays, I'll probably freak out even if we lose. If we draw, maybe not. But I've got it right here. Right here. It's my panic button right there. And if Guzman's in the starting lineup next to Tenari, Azira, Isidro, anybody like that, I'm freaking out. And I'm putting it. I will also say we win 4-0.
There you go. That's the way to go on the limb. I mean, Monarchs are sitting last in the division. They have a negative 18 goal differential. They're sitting on 16 points. And I can't help but think that we come away with 3 points here. Because not only do we need 3 points, I feel like this is a team we should beat. This is a team that we should not struggle with. And I mean, we shouldn't have struggled with them at any point this season. We have to finish. We have to play aggressive football. We can't sit back, especially at home. 10 matches to go. 10. I mean, who knows? Maybe we go on a run and we win 10 straight matches. We pick up 30 points. We finish on, 58, and we're all like, oh, everything's fine. No, we didn't. We weren't worried about this season at all. We didn't have anything to worry about. We have faith in this team. But looking at our remaining matches, Lou City, we've still got RGV. We've got San Antonio. Like,
I'm gonna stop you there, because yes, I do have faith in this team. Only if JPG is not around. As long as JPG is there and starting, then I don't. I don't have faith that we can pull out 3 points with JPG making stupid boneheaded moves that cost us every fucking match. So yes, on one hand, I do have faith and I do believe in this team and I do still love this team. And if I didn't, I would not have this flag hanging up, or that one, or this whole fucking wall right here behind me. Or I wouldn't have 10 fucking flags I'm trying to give away. But on the other hand, as long as I keep seeing JPG start for the third fucking year in a row, I'm going to not have faith that we can win matches with JPG.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish that we could be in the locker room. I wish we could sit down with Troy to see what his process is, to see what his decision making is about. What does he see that we're not seeing? I want to understand why he sets the lineups the way that he does. And, he'll always tell us, he always puts out the players that he thinks are going to be the best fit, are going to give us the best chance to win. And he'll always tell us that. But I want to see what he sees. I want to understand and look at what, he sees when he's preparing ahead of other teams and deciding, okay, well, I'm going to start these 11 guys instead of, giving someone else this opportunity. I want to understand more. But from what I do understand is that we have to be better. I mean, we're on the verge of not making the playoffs. Yes, it's tight. Yes, there's still 10 matches to go. But I don't know. I just don't know. This club has to find a way to come together. Troy has to make the call. And I mean, that being said, I think we win 2-0 on Saturday.
So I have two different scores.
That's not how it works, Earl.
Listen. The first one is a JPG list score, and that's 3-0. The other one is a JPG starting score. That's 3-2.
Whoever else.
Us.
So you got that backwards, because if JPG starts, there's no way in hell we're scoring 3 goals. We'll be lucky if we score 1. But I don't know, I'll stick with my 4-0. I'll have faith. I think that's going to happen at least some point this year. But I can almost guarantee you it'll happen in a game that Guzman does not start unless Rivas is beside him. Because I don't know, man. If Seth, if you could make that sound, if you could type out that sound that you made a few minutes ago, if you could type out that sound, that's the name of this title. That's the title of this episode. It's just that's the name of this title. I don't know how you have to do that. What you have to do to put that as the title, but that's it right there. Because that
I think the proper title is.
Yeah, I mean it's basically the same thing. It's you can go. I mean, you could just throw it all in there for all I care. But that is, it just, it's so infuriating after the Colorado Springs match to be put in a situation. Like, we should be sitting here going, oh, we fixed it. We figured it out. Rivas was the answer in that midfield. Casey Gaston was right all along. Good Casey on as an assistant or a consultant at least, because that guy knows everything, and we're coming off of 2 wins because of that. And then no, Rivas doesn't even play the next match, so we will have to see what happens. But I am cautiously optimistic that things will turn around because of changes made. And it starts Saturday at 7:30 with Real Monarchs at the lab. I think all 3 of us are going to be there, and we'll get to witness it firsthand if that's the case. Maybe it's just a thing where Rivas is only starting at home, and the away matches we're going defensive. I don't know. I don't think we're in a position to play that kind of strategy right now, though. So we'll see. We've got 10 matches left, I think.
Yep, 10.
10 matches left to. Don't judge me, all right? I was counting already before you said, yep, 10. So, and for all you know, for all I know, you were doing what I do, which is when you guys ask me a question, I just go, oh, yep, and I'm not listening at all. So, yeah, 10 matches left for us to fight to make the playoffs. We are still in 6th place, I believe. I honestly have been scared to look at the standings. How many points back are we of a playoff spot?
4.
That's what I thought. So it's an uphill battle, but we have teams that we're trying to chase on the schedule still, which means those are 6-point matches instead of 3. So we'll see. Hopefully Rivas is in the lineup, and we're coming back here next week talking about a 4-0 win and how surely this means things are going to change. So with that, I think I'm about done as far as that is concerned. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
Earl looks like he's dead, and I don't blame him. Yeah, this podcast will be very interesting next week, no matter what happens. I can guarantee that. But I'm almost positive that if it ends up being Guzman Azira midfield to start, and we draw or lose, I think this is what you're going to hear a lot next week. Silence, because we won't know what the hell to say, because we'll just be all defeated. So next week, I kind of dug the 8:30 thing because it's only 10 o'clock and we're getting out of here. So we might have to consider that moving forward. But
we just got to be consistent.
Yeah, let's split the difference and let's start at 9 every week. And I think that'll work. So we've been getting the boys to bed about 8:30 for a while now, and they seem to be in a pretty good groove. So I'm going to call it here. I'm going to say next week at 9 o'clock Mountain Time, we will be here on YouTube, and then a couple days later, it'll be out on a podcast. We still got flags to give away. Reach out to any of us on social media, and we'll either hand deliver it or send it out to you if you're out of state like Harry is. And yeah, that's all I got, guys. So join us next week. Hopefully with 3 points and a win, and at least Rivas in the midfield. And until then, guys, Somos Unidos.
All right.
I think that was by far my most sad Somos Unidos to finish an episode.
Probably. All right. A lot of energy, a lot of good talk, but it's just so damn frustrating. It just really is.
It is. My wife FaceTimed me for me to tell the boys good night about 8:30.
Yeah.
So it's about halfway through the second half. And I answered the FaceTime and I'm staring at the TV and she's like, "You okay?" And I said, "No." She's like, "Why not?" And I turned the phone around and showed her the game, and then I turned it back and said, "Because I don't know what we're doing. I just don't understand." And she was like, "Okay." And I tried to explain it to her, but unless you know, you really just don't know. So she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, babe." And I was just like, "It's okay. You don't have to act like you know what I'm talking about. Just humor me."
Yeah. I mean, you know, like I told you guys, I missed the first half because of my son's practice, but it was so frustrating to watch that. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's aggravating. I mean, and we're not, you know, YouTube, if you're still hanging out with us, like we're not experts at soccer by any means. We're not professional coaches. I mean, you know, I'm U10 certified to coach, you know, so like I can teach kids to dribble a ball and not hit it, you know, but you know, I read books. I study film. I watch games. I probably watched 20 soccer matches last week.
That's the infuriating thing, though, Seth, is that we aren't managers of pro soccer teams, and we see it.
Yeah.
We so clearly see the problem, and we aren't managers. How is the manager not seeing the problem? It has to be emotion over results. It has to be.
Yeah, that could very easily be it. If that's the case, I don't know. I don't know where to go from there. Like you got to focus on the results. You got to look at, you know, performance on the pitch and who's giving you the best chance to win. I mean, you may see something in practice and say, "Oh, well, that, you know, I think this is what, you know, what we want to do, and that's going to help us." But if you got players that aren't showing that on game day, then you got to do something else. You just have to.
Agreed. I'm out. I'm done.
All right.
I've talked about enough. YouTube, thank you. 9:00 next week. Be here.
Yep. YouTube, thank you guys so much for hanging out, and be sure to if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you know when we do go live. And like Jacob said, 9:00 Tuesday. If you're interested in creating content with us, drop us a line. Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, wherever, you know, talk to us here when we're live. We'd love to get some folks involved. We still have flags to give away.